You're standing in a crowded room, holding a drink, and the silence between you and a stranger is stretching into an eternity. We have all felt the paralyzing panic of forced small talk. Your brain goes into overdrive. You rehearse your next sentence, worry about sounding interesting, and desperately search for an exit, which guarantees you aren't actually listening to a word they are saying. Former intelligence officers are trained to walk into a room of complete strangers and build a sense of trust in just 5 minutes. Their methods focus on engineering a specific emotional connection, bypassing the need for physical attraction or forced humor. Magnetism is actually a covert psychological system. It is less about being the most interesting person in the room and more about making the other person feel understood. The psychological work begins before you say a single word. In any social setting, a judgment is made in the first 3 seconds, driven entirely by subconscious cues. You start with the open posture reset. Drop your phone, uncross your arms, and adopt a stance that signals you belong in the space. Then apply the 2-second eye contact rule. When you greet someone, hold their gaze for just 2 seconds longer than feels natural. That tiny pause bypasses their initial defensive filters. It sends a subconscious signal that they're worth your full attention, helping their guard drop. Mastering this physical infiltration creates a secure environment. It makes you appear safe and approachable, encouraging others to initiate the interaction. Once the conversation begins, you move into elicitation. This is the indirect method of collecting information without the other person realizing they're being interviewed. Use active observation. Instead of asking, "What do you do?" comment on a tangible detail, like the book they're holding or the bold color of their jacket, and see if they throw the ball back. To maintain a flow, use the 5-second decision rule to bypass your internal conversational filter. Say the very first authentic thought that pops into your head within 5 seconds. This replaces robotic small talk scripts with something genuine and unpredictable. You can also employ strategic ignorance. Even if you understand a topic, play dumb. Positioning the other person as the expert makes them feel important and valued. This diagram shows how strategic ignorance opens up the conversation. By letting them explain their world, you uncover high-value threads that would otherwise stay hidden. Elicitation flips the power dynamic. It encourages the other person to do the heavy lifting, turning them into an active, invested ally in the conversation. To deepen that connection, use the high-low buffalo framework. Share one success, share one challenge, and one interesting fact. This offers a calculated amount of vulnerability that invites them to do the same. As they speak, listen for the echo. The echo is the underlying emotional state, the pride, the frustration, or the excitement beneath the facts they are sharing. Mirroring that emotional echo makes the other person feel as though you share their exact experience, even if the details of your lives are completely different. To project authority, master the micropause. This was a signature tool of Steve Jobs, who let silence hang in the air after a significant point. Taking a 3-second breath before answering projects composure. It shows you aren't in a rush to prove yourself, which compels the other person to lean in and listen closer. Combining emotional mirroring with the micropause creates a rhythm where the other person feels less like a target and more like a collaborator. These methods are effective because they satisfy the basic human drive to be noticed and understood. Eye movements reveal our internal processing. When recalling a factual memory, their eyes typically move left, accessing the logical hemisphere. But if asked to imagine a future scenario, their eyes snap right, tapping into the creative hemisphere. However, none of these tactics work if you radiate a need for approval. The silence and the open posture only project confidence if you actually believe you belong in the room. By doing the internal work to assume you belong and turning your full curiosity toward others, you change how people respond to you before you even open your mouth.